disclosure here, as an employee of Ibero-American Development Corporation, I am recusing myself from deliberations and the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstain. Introductory number 186, authorizing agreement for economic development services. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 187, authorizing a lease agreement for the Office of Public Integrity. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 188, authorizing a lease agreement with Upstate Niagara Cooperative Incorporated. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 189, approving and authorizing submittal of the Citizen Participation Plan amended 2025, 2025-29 amended, the 2025-29 Consolidated Community Development Plan, and the 2025-26 Annual Action Plan, and authorizing the execution of grant agreements. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 190, appropriating 2025-26 Annual Action Plan funds and authorizing agreements for the Business Development Financial Assistance Program. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 191, appropriating 2025-26 Annual Action Plan funds and authorizing agreements for the Neighborhood Commercial Assistance Program. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 192, appropriating 2025-26 Annual Action Plan funds and authorizing agreements for street liaison services. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 193, appropriating 2025-26 Annual Action Plan funds and authorizing agreements for the demolition program. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 194, appropriating 2025-26 Annual Action Plan funds and authorizing agreements for the Emergency Assistance Program as amended. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 195, appropriating 2025-26 Annual Action Plan funds and authorizing agreements for Lead Hazard Control Program. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 196, appropriating 2025-26 Annual Action Plan funds and authorizing agreements for the Owner-Occupant Rehabilitation Program. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 197, appropriating 2025-26 Annual Action Plan funds and authorizing agreements for foreclosure prevention services. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 198, appropriating 2025-26 Annual Action Plan funds and authorizing agreements for the Home Rochester Program Management and the Community Housing Development Organization Reserve programs. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 199, appropriating 2025-26 Annual Action Plan funds and authorizing agreement for tenant landlord services. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 200, appropriating 2025-26 annual action plan funds and authorizing agreement for the Aging in Place project as amended. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 201, appropriating 2025-26 annual action plan funds and authorizing agreement for senior legal services. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 202, appropriating 2025-26 annual action plan funds and authorizing agreements for the Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS program. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 203, authorizing substantial amendments to the 2017-18 and 2018-19 annual action plans and appropriating funds for homebuyer assistance. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 204, appropriating 2025-26 City Development Fund Program appropriations. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 205, appropriating 2025-26 annual action plan funds and authorizing agreements for the Emergency Solutions Grants Program. All in favor, please say aye.
President Melendez. President Melendez,
Yes, sir.
just a quick question.
Councilmember Gruber.
I'm sorry for not catching this until now, but I do notice in the transmittal versus the legislation, there's like a $5,000 delta. If you look at 205, sorry Suzanne, I'm looking at you, but it could be anyone. If you look at 205 in the chart in the transmittal versus the chart in the legislation, there's a small delta of about $5,000, a little over $5,000. Just didn't know if there's a reason for that or if it's just a clerical error. Do you see what I'm referring to?
On the total?
Yeah, 205. The total on the transmittal is 666. In the legislation itself, underneath it, it's 661.
In my packet, 205 legislation has 666, 716.
In attachment A, it's 661, 154. Again, not trying to squabble over 5. I just want to make sure that we're passing it the right way.
I think you're looking at the attachment, not the actual ordinance.
Yeah. So is the attachment just a clerical error?
So it's the attachment that must have.
Yeah, the ordinance and the transmittal are the same. It's the attachment that's different.
Okay. Great. Then I'm not. I mean, I'll look for an answer later over the $5,000. I'm not trying to hold up the meeting. Just wanted to make sure we're good.
Yeah, we'll double check our math.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, so one more time, I'll call that to a vote. All in favor of introductory number 205, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Vice President Harris, the People, Parks, and Public Works Committee report, please.
Thank you, President Melendez. To the Council, the People, Parks, and Public Works Committee recommends for adoption of the following entitled legislation. Introductory number 206, authorizing term agreements for architectural professional services. Introductory number 207, authorizing term agreements for civil engineering professional services. Introductory number 208, authorizing term agreements for landscape architecture and planning professional services. Introductory number 209, authorizing term agreements for mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineering professional services. Introductory number 210, authorizing term agreements for space planning and move management professional services. Introductory number 211, authorizing term agreements for structural engineering professional services. Introductory number 212, amending the 2024 budget related to the receipt and use of funds from Rochester Gas and Electric Corporation related to the South Ave and Elmwood Ave reconstruction project. Introductory number 213, authorizing the agreement for the 2027 residential chip seal and milling and resurfacing project. Introductory number 214, authorizing an intermunicipal agreement with Monroe County for parking signs. Introductory number 215, authorizing an agreement for the illumination of High Falls. Introductory number 216, authorizing an agreement relating to the street lighting facilities within Chile Ave over Erie Canal Bridge project. Introductory number 217, a resolution granting the State of New York authority to perform the adjustment for the owner and agreeing to maintain facilities adjusted via state-let contract for street lighting facilities on Chile Ave over the Erie Canal Bridge project. Introductory number 218, authorizing an agreement relating to water facilities within Chile Ave over Erie Canal Bridge project. Introductory number 219, a resolution granting the State of New York authority to perform the adjustment for the owner and agreeing to maintain facilities adjusted via state-led contract for water facilities on the Chile Ave over Erie Canal Bridge project. Introductory number 220, a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $160,000 bonds of said city to finance the cost of a site characterization of environmental contamination present at 52 and 96 Fall Street in the city. Introductory number 221, authorizing an agreement for site characterization services. Introductory number 222, authorizing an agreement for a cost and fee analysis of the public right-of-way project. Introductory number 223, authorizing agreements related to the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Introductory number 224, authorizing a mandatory agreement with the Humane Society of Rochester and Monroe County. Introductory number 226, authorizing funding and agreements for the 2025 Summer Food Service Program. Introductory number 227, authorizing an agreement with the Center for Dispute Settlement, Inc. Introductory number 229, authorizing agreement for the Summer Family Literacy Program. Introductory number 230, authorizing an agreement related to the Recovery House and Crisis Stabilization Services. The People, Parks, and Public Works Committee recommends for the following entitled legislation to be held in committee. Introductory number 225, appropriating the 2025-26 Annual Action Plan funds and authorizing an agreement for International Plaza. Introductory number 228, authorizing an intermunicipal agreement for the Pathways to Peace school-based programming. This report respectfully submitted by Councilmember Willie J. Lightfoot, Councilmember Mary Lupien, Councilmember Michael A. Patterson, and President Miguel A. Melendez Jr., and myself, LaShaye D. Harris.
Thank you, Vice President. That report will be received, filed, and published, and we will proceed with the vote. Introductory number 206, authorizing term agreements for architectural professional services. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 207, authorizing term agreements for civil engineering professional services. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 208, authorizing agreement for landscape architecture and planning professional services. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 209, authorizing term agreements for mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineering professional services. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 210, authorizing term agreements for space planning and move management professional services. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 211, authorizing term agreements for structural engineering professional services. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 212, amending the 2024-25 budget related to the receipt and use of funds from Rochester Gas and Electric Corporation related to the South Avenue and Elmwood Avenue reconstruction project. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 213, authorizing agreement for the 2027 residential chip seal and milling and resurfacing project. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 214, authorizing an intermunicipal agreement with Monroe County for parking signs. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 215, authorizing agreement for the illumination of High Falls. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 216, authorizing agreement relating to street lighting facilities within the Chale Avenue over Erie Canal Bridge project. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 217, a resolution granting the State of New York authority to perform the adjustment for the owner and agreeing to maintain facilities adjusted via state-let contract for street lighting facilities on the Chale Avenue over Erie Canal Bridge project. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 218, authorizing agreement relating to water facilities within the Chale Avenue over Erie Canal Bridge project. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 219, a resolution granting the State of New York authority to perform the adjustment for the owner and agreeing to maintain facilities adjusted via state-led contract for water facilities on the Chale Avenue over Erie Canal Bridge project. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 220, a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $160,000 bonds of said city to finance the cost of a site characterization of environmental contamination present at 52 and 96 Fall Street in the city. This requires a roll call.
Councilmember Gruber,
Yes.
Councilmember Lightfoot,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Lupian,
Yes.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Councilmember Monroe,
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith, Vice President Harris,
Yes.
President Melendez.
Yes,
Thank you.
the motion carries. Introductory number 221, authorizing agreement for site characterization services. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 222, authorizing agreement for a cost and fee analysis of the public right-of-way project. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 223, authorizing agreements related to the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Bear with us one moment. So on introductory number 223, we believe there might be an amendment on 223, according to the clerk's office, to correct the total maximum compensation. So we're just going to pause for a moment to make sure we get that correct. All right, so just for the record, we amended it in committee, so I'm going to read that over as amended, and then we will vote one more time just to be safe. So we have introductory number 223, authorizing agreements related to the American Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals as amended in committee. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thanks for bearing with us on that. Introductory number 224, authorizing a mandatory agreement with the Humane Society of Rochester and Monroe County. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 226, authorizing funding and agreements for the 2025 Summer Food Service Program. So there are two disclosures for this item. Excuse me, Vice President Harris and Councilmember Lupien are employees of RCSD. They're required to disclose only and can participate in deliberations and the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 227, authorizing an agreement with the Center for Dispute Settlement Incorporated. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So we do have one piece of business we have to go back to. So 223, the amendment that the council received did come after committees. So I do not believe we amended this item in committee, according to our record here. So we will go back and amend the item and then vote on the item. So I will read what the amendment is. We received this electronically, and it was simply correcting a dollar amount in the transmittal and the legislation. In the legislation, we had a total of $159,000 originally. That was struck, and it was moved down to $155,000. Councilmember Patterson.
Just as a point of order, when we're amending items, don't we have to have it in writing before us?
I can't hear you.
Don't we have to have the item before us in writing in order to amend it? Well,
Yeah, I believe it was submitted to the council on June 6th.
Okay.
So we should have all received this in
Well-
advance of the meeting, but
Well,
we certainly can make copies to make it.
if we could, just for the, because we get a lot of stuff, so.
We will hold the floor for a
Yeah,
moment
yeah.
just to make a copy
Yeah.
of this item until everyone has it in front of them so that we know what we're amending.
I'm good with just looking at it, like, yeah. Okay, yeah. Just so we're following protocol here.
Thank you.
Yeah, we got it.
You got it. I think we just need to.
Okay, so the amendment that is before us strictly, as I mentioned earlier, strikes 159,000 and puts in 155,000. So I'd like to make that motion, and can I get a second?
Second.
It's been seconded, so we'll vote on amending introductory number 223. All in favor of amending the item, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, that motion carries, and now we'll vote on finally adopting introductory number 223 as amended. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for indulging us as we get it right. So now we'll move on to introductory number 227, authorizing an agreement with the Center for Dispute Settlement Incorporated. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 229, authorizing an agreement for a summer family literacy program. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 230, authorizing an agreement relating to recovery house and crisis stabilization services. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Vice President Harris, do you have a motion related to introductory number 225?
Yes, President Melendez, I would like to make a motion to discharge introductory number 225 from committee. Can I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, so we'll vote on discharging the item from committee. Before we do so, there is a disclosure on this item. I have to recuse myself from deliberations and the vote. So we'll vote on discharging from committee. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Abstain. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, we'll vote on introductory number 225. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Abstain. Motion carries. 801. Councilmember, yes, Councilmember Patterson, do you have a motion related to introductory number 228?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to discharge introductory number 228, authorizing an intermunicipal agreement for Pathways to Peace, school-based programming from committee.
Is there a second on that?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor of discharging from committee, please say aye. Aye.
Abstain.
Abstain.
We do have some abstentions. So let me just acknowledge that both Council Vice President Harris and Councilmember Lupien are employed by the district, and they must recuse from deliberation and the vote on this item. So we have, for the discharge, we have 702 on the discharge. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote on introductory number 228. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Abstain.
And 2 abstentions. Thank you. So Chairperson Gruber, the Budget, Finance, and Governance Committee report, please.
To the Council, the Budget, Finance, and Governance Committee recommends for adoption the following title legislation. Introductory number 231, appropriating 25-26 Annual Action Plan funds, authorizing amendments to the 2019-20 Annual Action Plan, and authorizing an amendatory agreement for services at the Financial Empowerment Center. Introductory number 232, authorizing an amendatory agreement relating to software licenses and support services for scheduling the staffing of the Fire, Police, and Emergency Communications 911 departments. Introductory number 233, authorizing data catalog software acquisition and implementation. Introductory number 234, authorizing an amendatory agreement related to representation in certain employment matters. Introductory number 246, authorizing competitive grant applications for fiscal year 25-26. The Budget, Finance, and Governance Committee recommends the following title legislation to be held in committee. Introductory number 235, a resolution approving the 25-26 debt limit for general municipal purposes. Introductory number 236, adoption of the budget estimates for municipal purposes for the 25-26 fiscal year, appropriation of sums set forth therein, and approving commercial refuse fees. Introductory number 237, adoption of the budget estimates for school purposes for the 25-26 fiscal year, and appropriation of sums set forth therein. Introductory number 238, levying taxes for municipal purposes for the fiscal year commencing July 1, 2025, and expiring June 30, 2026. Introductory number 239, levying taxes for school purposes for the fiscal year commencing July 1, 2025, and expiring June 30, 2026. Introductory number 240, a local improvement ordinance for street cleaning, street and sidewalk snow removal, and hazardous sidewalk repair commencing July 1, 2025, and expiring June 30, 2026. Introductory number 241, confirming the assessments, amounts, and charges to be inserted in the annual tax rolls for the fiscal year commencing July 1, 2025, and expiring June 30, 2026. Introductory number 242, a local law amending the city charter with respect to the organization of the zoning, permitting, and compliance functions within the Department of Neighborhood and Business Development. Introductory number 243, amending the municipal code with respect to the organization of the zoning, permitting, and compliance functions within the Department of Neighborhood and Business Development. Introductory number 244, amending the municipal code with respect to water rates. Introductory number 245, amending the municipal code with respect to towing and storage fees. introductory number 249, confirming the assessments, amounts, and charges to be inserted in the annual tax rolls for the fiscal year commencing July 1, 2025 and expiring June 30, 2026 as amended. This report was respectfully submitted by Councilmember Stanley Martin, Councilmember Bridget Monroe, Council Vice President Lachey Harris, Council President Miguel Melendez, and myself, Mitch Gruber.
Thank you, Chairperson Gruber. That report will be received, filed, and published, and we will proceed with the vote. Introductory number 231, appropriating 2025-26 Annual Action Plan funds, authorizing amendments to the 2019-2020 Annual Action Plan, and authorizing an amendatory agreement for services at the Financial Empowerment Center. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 232, authorizing an amendatory agreement relating to software licenses and support services for scheduling the staffing of the fire, police, and emergency communications / 911 departments. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 233, authorizing data catalog services, or software, data catalog software acquisition and implementation. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 234, authorizing a mandatory agreement related to representation in certain employment matters. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 246, authorizing competitive grant applications for fiscal year 2025-26. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Chair Gruber, do you have a motion related to Intro 235?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to discharge introductory number 235 from committee. Can I have a second?
Move it.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of discharging from committee, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. So quick disclosure on this item. We have Councilmember Gruber as a council liaison to the Rochester Public Library Board. He may participate in the discussion and the vote on this item. And I also have a disclosure from myself as a board member of the Rochester Riverside Convention Center. Same deal. I'm only required to disclose that information, and I may discuss and vote on the item. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, we'll vote on introductory number 235. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Chair Gruber, do you have a motion related to introductory number 236, adoption of the budget estimates for municipal purposes for the 2025-26 fiscal year, appropriations of sums set forth therein, and approving commercial refuse fees?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to discharge introductory number 236 from committee. Can I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. So we'll vote on discharging the item from committee. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. So on this item, I'm assuming that we'll have a lot of discussion. So I will probably just go down the line. It's probably the best way to do this. So we start with Councilmember Gruber and go down the line, and I'll end at the before the vote.
Thanks. This was a difficult budget year. It probably would have been difficult no matter what the circumstances were, given that this is the year that we wean ourselves off of ARPA funds after several years of money directly from the federal government to the municipality. But it was made a lot harder by incredible uncertainty at the federal level. And I really just want to thank the administration and thank OMB, thank the finance department. The city has really served well. I think served better than a lot of folks even know by having a really strong, tight set of controls to make sure that our budgets are smart and thoughtful every year. I'm grateful to everyone on the SMT who's here tonight and having to put in some really tough work to get to a balanced on-time budget given the uncertainty. A lot of other municipalities use ARPA dollars to plug holes, and we didn't do that. And We didn't do that very often, I should say, and that made this a much easier year than a lot of our sister cities to the east and west and south have had it. So I'm really thankful to everyone, and I particularly want to call out the Office of Management and Budget for just a really thorough job. Really appreciate it, Suzanne. I will be voting in favor of the budget. I think there are still a number of questions that are unanswered, things that I really want to work on. I don't think this budget gets very far in addressing some of the real concerns of the neighborhood service centers that I've been addressing for a couple of years. I don't think this budget addresses any of the huge concerns that I know we all have, including the police department in dealing with vacancies and overtime funds. I don't think this budget even very explicitly answers the questions of how we're going to maintain some of the services that the Evans administration started with ARPA funds and won't be able to continue with ARPA funds, but have proven very successful. So those are outstanding questions, but the budget itself, the foundation of it, the fact that we can hopefully move forward tonight with a majority of council without laying people off, without cutting any services explicitly, is pretty remarkable considering the environment and climate that we're in. So I will be voting yes, but I'm also going to put a flag, those particular items that I mentioned and some others. I will be following up in my duties as the finance chair and trying to get some of those answers worked out pretty quickly, but very happy to be voting yes tonight, and thank you again for all the hard work.
Council Vice President.
Thank you. I'd like to echo some of the remarks that our finance chair, Gruber, has mentioned, and the hard work that you guys put into this budget. And thank you to the administration for, making sure that we can do the work without cutting jobs. I'll read a couple of remarks I have. Thank you to the administration for supporting and implementing recommendations of the report, including building employment opportunities and career pathways for residents and youth, including summer opportunity and fellows, policy programs to support generational wealth building, which is this child savings account, home purchase assistance program, and ReJob 3.0 has been maintained. Investing in neighborhoods and residents like the NIA. We know that the NIA just came out, it's piloting, and looking forward to the growth of that. Housing affordability is definitely assessed in this budget. Accessibility and stability with the Buy the Block Home Rochester program and Happy. Of course, we maintain the Rochester rehabilitation program and the roof repair program. And most of all, we're supporting youth development and equitable opportunities for all in this budget, job training skills for our youth. And then there's family supports that were maintained through our center and libraries. I would like to have seen increase in the hours as came out of the report from the Child Poverty Initiative report, and looking forward to us trying to figure out ways to increase those hours and additional amenities for those supports for our youth. The support of social emotional interventions has been profound and very good for our centers, and I'm glad we were able to maintain that. Building healthy and accessible food system is one of the things that we started working on, and we're going to continue. Looking forward to this budget to continue. And then the PIC team, the Person in Crisis Team Intervention Services, are critical to emergency responses for safer neighborhoods, which is another piece that is a pillar to council priorities. These are just a number of things that I've highlighted that the budget addresses, but we still, need to continue to push forward to work on those things. There are a number of recommendations that came from the children's agenda team, and I'm going to be still pushing to see if we can push forward those initiatives as well as initiatives in the child poverty report that I put out. Thank you.
Councilmember Lightfoot.
Just want to say ditto. Thank you, OMB, and God bless you, and I'll be supporting the budget.
Councilmember Lupien.
I want to echo the comments of my colleagues in praising the administration and the OMB for all of their hard work in putting this budget together. It is not easy, and I know you start on next year's budget pretty much next next cycle. But I am going to be voting no on this budget. Mayor Evans, as finance chair, you voted no on Mayor Lovely Warren's last budget, and I agreed with you. You said it didn't go far enough or fast enough, and I believe Councilmember Gruber echoed those comments. And since taking office, none of your budgets have gone far enough or fast enough, and this year's budget fails to meet the urgency and the scale of the intersecting crises that we have in this community. And I want to thank Councilmember Vice President Harris for her powerful report, which makes it plain that 42% of our children live in poverty. It's the second highest poverty rate in the nation. Her report also lifts up real solutions that are championed by many of us on council and organizations like the Children's Agenda and our MAPI. Guaranteed income, youth development, food access, mental health supports, and safe, stable housing. Yet this budget cuts funding for youth, libraries, our centers, violence prevention, while increasing funding for police. It ignores our housing crisis, ends our guaranteed income pilot, and refuses to fully fund public power, even as families, the public power study, even as families are crushed by energy bills and subpar service. And it doesn't do enough to invest in our own employees who are suffering from failing equipment that puts their safety at risk. Rochester families are begging for relief, and this budget tells them to keep waiting. We can't sweep poverty aside. We need to invest in our people now.
Councilmember Martin?
Yeah, thank you to OMB for putting together this budget, all the department heads, and also our council staff. You all do such an incredible job year after year in breaking it down, making it accessible for us. So thank you. I will also be voting no on this budget. My reason aligns with what Councilmember Lupien said. This budget does not go far enough to advance some of the human services that keep our community safe. Further, it does not pay frontline workers like our security staff adequately when compared to the salaries of police departments. We know that there are gaps when it relates to providing mental health services across the various libraries. We know that there are gaps when it comes to ensuring that our council aides have access to health insurance and adequate pay. And we see these themes across the budget where there's a huge discrepancy in the salaries of the frontline workers versus the heads of departments. We continue to prioritize policing as the primary solution for safety. However, looking across our communities, we know that the safest communities have the most resources, and this budget fails to adequately allocate resources to various departments that help with safety. Additionally, I see folks from the Rochester Energy Democracy campaign here. I do have to say I'm deeply disappointed in the majority position on this council to not take the lead and fund this study. As many of you know, I am one of the incumbents who supports the city taking the lead. And although the money is reserved and has been sitting there for nearly 2 years, there has been a failure in leadership to make a move and actually fund this study to support our community members. So I just want to let the Red Campaign, people who are energy burdened, I want to let you all know I stand with you all. I support the city taking the lead, and hopefully after this budget we can continue to work together to actually allocate the $500,000 to a phase 1 feasibility study. With all that being said, I will be voting no on this budget.
Councilmember Patterson?
Nope.
Sorry, Councilmember Monroe, sorry.
I want to echo the thank you for all the work that everyone has put into putting together the budget. It is always a gargantuan task and so important for setting out our plans clearly for everyone to see for the upcoming year. In particular, I am heartened by the increase in PIC and other human service-oriented responses to emergency calls. I think being able to add a more holistic model will go a long way toward having longer-term changes for people, their circumstances, and their families. I would certainly like to see continued mental health pushed into the school district, which is another budget that we'll be voting on next. I also have, spoken about recreation in the Northwest, and I look forward to working closely with the commissioner so that we can talk again about more creative ways to push services into the Northwest. And in particular, the need to get our incoming superintendent on board with giving us access to the schools that we will also be paying for in this budget. In fact, a huge portion, the largest portion of our budget does go to the city school district. So the ability to be able to use their buildings, especially all this money that's been put in through the modernization program. There are recreational spaces that had been used and they haven't been utilized since COVID. And even before then, Charlotte High School has a fantastic field. They have a field house. That's something that we should be able to utilize. We have staff. We're ready to do recreation, and we do a lot of supports for all the kids in the city. So I also want to reiterate Finance Chair Gruber's comment about our NSCs. I think that they are very important to our neighborhoods. People look to them first for answers because after the net, which was the predecessor to NSCs, obviously people have learned that this is where they need to go. And I hope as we look to reorganize our NSCs and strengthen them, that perhaps that neighborhood training component of helping people learn how to be leaders and what it is to kind of tap in and understand how the city works, because unless you're really in it, you don't really know all the pieces that happen and why different things are done, including all kinds of regulations or rules around grant funding from different agencies. There are many places where our hands are tied in how we can push out projects, including affordable housing. And I'm also excited about the most recent press release from the mayor about looking at affordable housing that could be pre-manufactured. I think this is an exciting step, and I look forward to this year and working with our chair, Councilmember Patterson. Again, I want to thank people. I will be voting yes on this budget. I've been proud of Rochester always for the fact that despite the fact that we have received less per capita funding for decades and decades than any of our other big five, well, the four upstate cities, is significant. And yet we have the best bond rating. We have solid finances. When we talk about the different services, the directions we want to go into, we actually have the ability to provide those services, determine plans, because we have been good stewards of our funding. And without good stewards of our funding, nothing works in a city. So again, I want to applaud everyone for this continued dedication to properly stewarding our funds. Thank you.
Councilmember Patterson.
I will be voting in favor of the budget, and I spend a lot of time talking about a lot of things, but I don't need to talk about this budget.
Councilmember Smith.
There isn't much to say that hasn't already been said. Thank you all for the hard work that you put into creating this budget. Real special shout out to our council staff. And I also want to shout out the Red Campaign for bringing the voices of our community into this council chamber. And Rochester still remains to be the fourth poorest city in the nation. So as in the past, this budget does not show equitable investment in our low income and most marginalized communities. As we are in the middle, as we are in the middle of a housing crisis, we are seeing more people in eviction court and on the streets. And in the midst of that, as we are doing relocations, this budget doesn't address the fact that there are no locations to relocate them to. I will be voting no.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I do want to echo some of what my colleagues have already said, but at the risk of not being too redundant, I'll limit my remarks. First, I do want to thank the council staff. I mean, I think that from a council perspective, this was probably one of the smoothest budgets that we've been through in my 5 years going through council budgets. And I appreciate all of the work up front that the team did, the budget analysis work, the preparation work to the team. I also want to acknowledge Councilmember Gruber for leading us through the finance hearings. 3 days of hearings is a lot, and you're able to help navigate the council through that process. So I really appreciate that. And to all of my colleagues and the administration, I think we had a lot of questions this year that went to the administration, and we appreciate the responses to the most pertinent questions ahead of the budget vote. So we appreciate that. For me, I will be voting yes on the budget as well. I hear that there are some areas of growth and opportunity. There always is in every budget year. One of the things that I want to focus on in the upcoming year, and ancillary, it's kind of sort of budget related, sort of not. It's more operational, I think, in nature, but making sure that we focus on code enforcement and our neighborhood service centers. I spent the energy in our hearings talking about that. I think code enforcement for me is top priority. Figuring out how we can work with you, the council can work with the administration to support the growth and development of our N4 platform, to make sure that inspectors have what they need on the ground to do the job and efficiently do the job. And I do believe that this budget helps us get closer to doing that. We continue to invest in the staff in this budget. There was a $97.5 million budget gap coming in, so I know that that was a significant concern for the administration. So I appreciate you doing the hard work of closing that gap before producing a budget to the council that we had to consider. By no means is everything in the budget perfect. I'm sure that we all have something, all 9 of us have something we wish we would invest a little bit more in. But with that being said, I am in full support of moving this budget forward and having additional conversations around how the neighborhood service centers and the code enforcement aspects of what we do in city government continue to improve so we can improve the quality of housing in our community. So with that, I will move us to a vote on introductory number 236.
Could we have a roll call vote?
We'll do a roll call.
Councilmember Gruber,
Yes.
Councilmember Lightfoot,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Lupian,
No.
Councilmember Martin,
No.
Councilmember Monroe,
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith, Vice President Harris,
Yes.
President Melendez.
Yes,
Thank you.
the motion carries. Chair Gruber, do you have a motion related to introductory number 237?
I'd like to make a motion to discharge introductory number 237 from committee. Can I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, so we will vote on discharging introductory number 237 from committee. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And we do have 2 abstentions, Vice President Harris and Councilmember Lupian. My apologies for not acknowledging that first. 702 on discharge from committee. Any questions, comments, or concerns on introductory number 237? Seeing
President Melendez, I'll make one comment about the school budget, and it would actually be to you. I think we need to take some. When you first became council president, we put some effort in to try to shore up the relationship between the city council and the school board. I think there was some good work done, but it needs to be. We need to lean in even further, especially with new leadership at the school board level, and the $200+ million in fund balance that district has, along with so many different programs that are aligned with ours and potentially under attack with Title I challenges coming their way probably at some point. So I just hope that we can find a way to structurally create a little bit more synergy, and if you think that's a finance committee function, so be it, but if it's a function of the presidency, so be it. Either way, that's just one thing I really want to see us move on quickly in July.
duly noted. We'll have some discussions and figure out the best course of action for that. Any other comments? Councilmember Monroe?
I think it's worthwhile to point out that the city budget is $680 million as compared to the $1.1 billion for the city school district, and they're educating approximately 24,000 students. Obviously, we need to do better. the work of city government can only go so far when we have a school district system that isn't properly serving our children, meeting their needs, and getting them the education that each and every single one of them deserve. I will be voting yes on this budget, knowing, of course, that per state law, even if we vote this budget down, it will go into effect. So we have this vote, but in essence, this vote is meaningless. My vote of yes is for continued hope to make some stronger or make some connections with the school board, as Councilmember Gruber was stating, and also that we can really finalize, get that relationship going so that we are using schools and spaces. There's so much synergy to be had here that has not been happening for so very long, and that has to change. Thank you.
Any additional comment? All right, I'll make my annual appeal that I don't think it ever makes sense that the city council votes on this budget, particularly because no matter what we do, yes or no, it's meaningless in terms of functionally. It doesn't matter if we vote yes or no. With that, I think we'll do a roll call with the with this particular item, and Vice President Harris and Councilmember Lupien must abstain from this.
Councilmember Gruber,
Yes.
Councilmember Lightfoot,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Lupien,
Abstain.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Councilmember Monroe,
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith, Vice President Harris,
Abstain.
President Melendez.
Yes, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Chair Gruber, do you have a motion related to introductory number 238?
I'd like to make a motion to discharge introductory number 238 from committee. Can I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, so we'll vote on discharging introductory number 238 from committee. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Any questions, comments, or concerns related to introductory 238? Seeing none, we will move to vote on introductory number 238. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Chair Gruber, do you have a motion related to introductory number 239?
I'd like to make a motion to discharge introductory number 239 from committee. Can I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We'll vote on discharging introductory 239 from committee. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Any opposed? And we got 2 abstentions, 702. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Comment.
Councilmember Patterson.
For those folks who are following along on TV, this is introductory number 239, where we are required by state law to give the Rochester City School District $119 million every year. We're required to do it. Whether we vote it down or not, we still got to pay them. And I will be voting in support of this because I don't have a choice. I have to follow the law.
Any additional questions, comments? Councilmember Martin?
Yeah, I just want to clarify that the administration can at any point choose to increase that amount from $119 million. So there's some nuance there also.
Another comment.
All right, Councilmember Patterson.
And the $119 million that we are required to pay by state law is the vast majority of all of the property taxes that we collect. So if we were to pay more, that would be that much less that we would have to expend for other services across the city of Rochester.
Final word, Councilmember Martin.
Well, I have an idea. Maybe we can take some of the $115 million in policing and give it to the school district so they can use it to support parents and students within the RCSD.
All right. I gave the final word on that. So I'm going to move us to a vote on introductory number 239. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And we have 2 abstentions. Councilmember Lupien and Vice President Harris. All right, Chair Gruber, do you have a motion related to introductory number 240?
I'd like to make a motion to discharge introductory number 240 from committee. Can I have a second?
Second.
So moved and seconded. So now we'll vote on discharging introductory number 240 from committee. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. So now, any discussion, comments, questions on introductory number 240? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Gruber,
Yes.
Councilmember Lightfoot,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Lupian,
Yes.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Councilmember Monroe,
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith, Vice President Harris,
Yes.
President Melendez.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Chair Gruber, a motion related to introductory 242.
I'd like to make a motion to discharge introductory number 242 from committee. Can I have a second?
Second.
One moment. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor, so we'll have to take this up, but we do have to go back to 241 after this. So 242 has a motion and a second on the floor. Let's vote on discharging introductory number 242 from committee. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Any discussion on introductory number 242? Okay, any further discussion on 242? We're on 242, yes.
We didn't do.
All right, so if there's no further discussion on 242, we'll do a roll call vote.
Councilmember Gruber,
Yes.
Councilmember Lightfoot,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Lupian,
Yes.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Councilmember Monroe,
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith, Vice President Harris,
Yes.
President Melendez.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion carries. So question to the administration. We have 241, which was originally our assessments, and then it was later added that we have 249, which is an amendment to that item. So we will only vote on 249, is that correct, Corporation Counsel?
Yes, that's correct.
All right, so for those of us who are scrambling our brains up here looking at where's 241, it is actually going to be 249, and we'll get to that item in a moment. All right, so Chair Gruber, introductory number 243, do you have a motion for that?
I'd like to make a motion to discharge introductory number 243 from committee. Can I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, so we'll vote on discharging introductory number 243 from committee. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Any discussion? Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, we'll vote on introductory number 243. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Chair Gruber, do you have a motion related to introductory number 244?
I do. I'd like to make a motion to discharge introductory number 244 from committee, and I'm looking for a second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, so we'll vote on discharging introductory number 244 from committee. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Any discussion? Seeing none, we will vote on introductory number 244. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, introductory number 245 will remain held in committee. We have some questions on that item, so we will take that up at a future meeting. Chair Gruber, do you have a motion related to introductory number 249?
I'd like to make a motion to discharge introductory number 249 from committee. Can I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We will vote on discharging introductory 249 from committee. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Any discussion on introductory number 249?
Just point of clarity, Mr. President.
Yes, Chair, Councilmember Lightfoot.
Thank you, sir. 249 is an amendment to 240?
Amendment to 241, sir.
Excuse me, 241. So does 241 have to be discharged in order for it to be amended?
You bring up a very interesting point. So the original intention, I think, was to amend 241, but we ended up sending through a new item, which became 249. So this is titled as amended, but 249 is really a new item. Right. It's just an amending of an item that's kind of DOA, right? Give me a moment to consult with people here. Hold on. Yeah, Mayor, as usual, had a great idea. Why don't we just bring forward 241 and treat it as amended using the writing on 249, which I think satisfies the letter of the rules that you need something in writing before the council. And then we can administratively in the background just address the 241, 249 issue.
Thank you, Councilmember Lightfoot, for that. And so we have introductory 241 in committee. Corporation Council, we already made a motion for 249. Is that something we have to?
Yeah, I don't think 249 was put to the vote yet, so we can, whoever made the motion to adopt 249 can withdraw.
I will withdraw the motion on 249.
All right. So we withdrew that motion. We have.
Wait a minute. Okay. So just
Councilmember Patterson.
Just little process questions here. So all right. So the recommendation is we withdraw 249, which is as presented a standalone piece of legislation, which accomplishes everything that you wanted to do. And instead, what you want to do is go back to 241 and then, utilizing the language in 249, amend 241 to reflect what is already in 249. Is that correct?
Sloppy? Yes. That's what we're suggesting. The alternative would be to move forward with 249 and just further amend it by striking the language from the title that says "as amended."
So well, wait a minute.
We'll hold you.
Hang on a second. Wait. So, as I look at the I would rather, quite frankly, strike as amended out of 249.
As amended,
yeah.
And then
I think that's
off we go.
That's right. You can strike 241 completely, and then strike as amended
in 249, right? And then we just pass 249. That just solves everything.
That's an alternative way we can go. We can just leave 241 in committee, let it die, and then. So technically, you'd be amending 249 by striking that language as amended. So we'd have to get it in writing in front of everybody, and then we could proceed.
Well, we all got it right here in front of us because we all got 249.
Somebody want to strike it through and then show everybody?
I think we can all put a line through it. Can we manage that?
I think we can all put a line through the line that says "as amended."
Love the teamwork.
So let's do that. Yeah.
All right. So now we're going to finally get this right. So 241 will die in committee. 249, Councilmember Gruber, do you have a motion to discharge 249 from committee?
Yep, I'd like to remake the motion to discharge insurance number 249 from committee. Can I have a second?
Second.
All right, moved and seconded, and we will vote on discharge in 249. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And now we are proposing an amendment to introductory number 249 to strike the line that says "as amended." Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. And now we vote on the amendment to 249. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All right. Any questions, comments, or concerns related to 249?
Go on and read it. Go on and read it. This is going to be fun. As amended.
Hey, it is what it is. Here we are. Okay, so now we'll vote on introductory number 249. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
As amended, right?
As amended.
Okay.
Did we get all the ayes?
I think we got it. Yeah.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the fun of legislative business. Chairperson Lightfoot, the Public Safety Committee report, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. To the Council, the Public Safety Committee recommends for adoption the following title legislation. Introduction number 241, appropriating 2025-2026 annual action plan fund for a smoke detector, carbon monoxide, detector installation program. Introduction number 248, authorizing agreement related to the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services 2025-2026 statewide targeted reduction in intimate violence strive grant. Respectfully submitted by Councilmember Dr. Mitch Gruber, Councilmember Mary Lupian, Councilmember Stanley Martin, Councilmember Bridget Monroe, Councilmember Michael A. Patterson, Councilmember Kim Smith, Councilmember Vice President Lachey D. Harris, Councilmember President Miguel A. Melendez, and myself, Willie J. Lightfoot.
Thank you, Chairperson Lightfoot. That report will be received, filed, and published, and we will proceed with the vote. Introductory number 247, appropriating 2025-26 annual action plan funds for a smoke detector and carbon monoxide installation program. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 248, authorizing agreements related to the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services 2025-26 statewide targeted reduction in inmate violence strive grant. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I will now read the Committee of the Whole report to the Council. The Committee of the Whole recommends the following entitled legislation to be held in committee. Introductory number 250, amending the municipal code relating to Rochester as a sanctuary city for immigrants and for the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, and asexual community. This report was respectfully submitted by Council members Mitch Gruber, Willie J. Lightfoot, Mary Lupian, Stanley Martin, Bridget Monroe, Michael A. Patterson, Kim Smith, Vice President Lachey D. Harris, and myself, Miguel A. Melendez, Jr. That report will be received, filed, and published. We will quickly move into RURA in a second, so we will forego miscellaneous business to get to RURA.
Can we make a quick comment on that item being held?
Certainly. Just a quick comment, and then we will move to the business of RURA.
I want to say that, I look forward to future discussions on strengthening our sanctuary city legislation, understanding that part of why we can't move forward or there's not a desire to move forward has to do with the lawsuit again from the Trump administration. And I do appreciate, that we are moving forward with some of the items, including some of the LGBTQ protections and some funding while we are waiting.
Thank you for that.
Quick question.
Councilmember Martin, you have a question, you said?
Yes, question to Patrick Beef, who we worked with on this legislation. I know previously there have been questions about the legality around how it's written, concerns with RPD and accountability. Could you talk about the legality of the legislation as it stands?
What I can say to you in an open session is that the legality of our current sanctuary city resolution, which I believe to be lawful, is being challenged by the federal government, which is to say there are people out there who think it is not lawful. And so I think discussions of the legality of the proposed legislation are best had in executive session because of the pending litigation.
Thank you. That's helpful. Well, you won't say it, but we work together with Corporation Counsel to ensure that the language we use took into account different pieces of collective bargaining, considered the role of discipline in putting forth legislation and holding city employees accountable. So I'm really proud that we were able to work collectively and create and put forth something that is supported by folks who work with immigrant communities, people who are directly impacted by ICE, and also our LGBTQIA community. Though it's being held, decision made by the majority of council, I do also look forward to continuing to work with our local community and hopefully putting something forth in the near future.
All right, so I'm going to move us out of the general council meeting. The item is being held for a couple different reasons, but mainly because of the litigation at this point, and we will proceed when we have some answers to those questions. So with no further business before the council, we stand adjourned. And now we will move into RURA.
Agent Councilmember Gruber.
Present.
Agent Councilmember Lightfoot.
Present, ma'am.
Agent Councilmember Lupian.
Here.
Agent Councilmember Martin.
Here.
Agent Councilmember Monroe.
Here.
Agent Councilmember Patterson.
Here.
Agent Councilmember Smith. Agent Vice President Harris.
Here.
Agent President Melendez.
Here.
Thank you.
Agent Patterson, the RURA Resolution Review Committee report, please.
To the council, the Rural Resolution Review Committee recommends for consideration the following entitled legislation. Introductory number URA 6, resolution designating Abid Realty LLC as qualified and eligible to purchase 45 Excel Drive and a portion of 25 Excel Drive to conduct an urban renewal project. This report is respectfully submitted by council members Mitch Gruber, Kimberly Smith, Vice President LaShaye D. Harris, President Miguel A. Melendez Jr., and myself, Michael A. Patterson.
Thank you, Agent Patterson. That report will be received, filed, and published, and we'll proceed with the vote. Introductory number URA 6, a resolution designated Abid Realty LLC as qualified and eligible to purchase 45 Excel Drive and a portion of 25 Excel Drive to conduct an urban renewal project. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. With no further business before the RURA Committee, we are adjourned.
I just have one question. Gosh, there's no respect for Rura. Everybody left. I'm glad you stayed. Patrick, I just wanted in writing regarding the cell tower that's going to be, being proposed to be plopped in the middle of a neighborhood. Can you provide me the circumstances which we can legally deny the application? Because I understand that there's some FEC regulations. And is there a date if we do not act that it would automatically be approved?
So I can get back to you in writing. I'll talk to Tom Worth and our zoning folks. And
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.